Okay, what's our subject matter?
All right.
Oh, hey.
Good
Hey,
morning,
good morning.
everybody.
Good morning.
We don't know the name of the show, but that's Paul, and I'm Soam.
So
and you
PS.
it could be the PS show.
The PS.
And should we explain what the PS is and
Yeah,
how we kind of
yeah.
thought of why it should be PS?
Yeah, I think it's incredible how you came up with it.
So I was driving home, and when I'm driving home, I was thinking about the show that we were going to do this morning. And I was thinking about the combination of our letters of our name, and I was
Right.
thinking about PS.
PS.
And I was thinking, like, at the end of a letter or at the end of some sort of note, there's always like that
PS.
PS from whoever that says
Postscript.
either I love you or is a reminder to do something. And it's always a little, like, after that big long letter, right? That little PS means so much, doesn't it?
It sure does.
It's
you
like
know?
the little thing that makes you feel good, like, oh,
Yeah.
they cared so much to add a little note to remind me
yeah.
of something or tell me something that makes a huge impact of my day.
Yeah.
And I think that the message that Paul and I want to bring to you is we hope that you get some information, some entertainment, some enjoyment from your day,
Yeah, so-
from our little podcast that
So
we're
this
trying
is
to
a PS.
So this is like the PS show. And,
Yeah.
you know, we do love you guys.
That's right.
We don't know you yet,
appreciate
but
you.
we appreciate you already.
Yeah, just the fact that you're tuning into this is.
Heck yeah.
Thank you so much.
And then we plan to do this every week,
Every week.
Friday. And eventually, you know, maybe we can have multi-platforms. Like,
absolutely.
you've got the video right now. Or
Yeah,
if you
the
just prefer
podcast.
to listen to a podcast and just listen to audio, you can have that available as well with the same content and everything like that.
We do that right now.
Yes, we can actually.
So
we
I
got
do
all these
like
gadgets and
podcast right now.
things. So one of the things that why did we want to do this in the first place? I think it started with whenever we got together,
Yeah.
we had just interesting subject matter, and it was just fun. We got a lot of laughter and enjoyment talking to each other about it, and it
Yeah.
just turned into a big, like, what if, and we came up with some different ideas, and some of these ideas are probably very can be very implemented or done if someone would listen to it and maybe
Absolutely.
had the right resources to get it done.
I think part of it was that we really had amazing conversations, just the exchange of ideas of what could be in the future, right? So
Yeah.
it's kind of like just a bunch of two guys just hanging out talking about, hey, what if? You know, what they ought to do is,
Yeah.
You know?
Like
And
cars
like
that can just go into the garage and you don't have
Yeah.
to plug in anything, and
just charged up.
it's just like a charging cell. A big giant
Yeah.
car garage charging cell.
Yeah.
And we think about the city infrastructure on how there's parking garages
Yeah.
everywhere downtown.
Right.
Well, if the world in the future was nothing but electric cars, wouldn't it be cool just to have a garage
Yeah.
that you just pulled into, and the
Pull
minute you
into.
pulled into, you had your own cell that would automatically charge up your
Yeah.
vehicle.
So like reserved parking, right? So
Mhm.
each reserved parking spot would have its own charger. So you just kind of like your phone when you don't have one of those plug-ins you just land it on top, and then it charges automatically.
It's like the wireless pad, but you got a giant pad
exactly.
for your vehicle. How neat would that be?
That'd be really cool, actually.
And if that building was somehow solar powered on the roof, that would supplement some of the
Yeah,
power to help
some of the
charge your
power.
vehicle?
Yeah.
Wow, what a concept.
That even sounds like a tax incentive. Like if you were to build this building, like something similar to akin to like Carvana, for example.
Yeah.
You know, they pull it up and then they lifts the car up and parks them in, and they charge automatically.
And then you'd have the new term of a city, what we would call these in the future, we would call these green energy cities.
Yeah,
That would be
and
popping
that's
up.
gonna be big because you know we're at the verge of talking about mega cities. And
Yeah.
mega cities. It's already in the conversation, right? So in most of the people when they're talking about stuff, it's already being introduced that we're gonna have mega cities that are just gonna be huge impact, and so space is gonna be at a premium.
Have you ever played that game I don't know, it must be an old school thing, but you know, I'm in that generation that was like right before the internet, during the internet, and after
Yeah.
the internet. I don't know what they call them, but that game SimCity.
Yeah, SimCity,
And,
yeah. I
You know,
remember
you
that.
start off with a little community, and then all of a sudden it develops and goes into the
It was
future.
bigger, yeah.
Well, some of those cities that it evolved into I think could really be a real life city of the future. Futuristic, you know, these don't, like you're talking about space, and
Right.
already they're doing like hydroponics, and they're doing like
Yeah, sure.
farms and stuff on top of apartment buildings and things like that.
Right.
I can see a lot of that happening. Is we're going to be creating these big giant greenhouses that we're going to have to plant our vegetation in, because we're always consuming and taking
So-
from our resources.
So what's crazy is that, you know, we're talking about resources, right? So I mean, we're talking about these days. It's very common to have genetically modified foods,
Mhm.
and so what we might see is genetically modified foods without even putting them in water or anything. They would just grow naturally.
Oh.
And the food sources would be just that, not necessarily manufactured like plastic or say, but there still would be a growing process where they can harvest some of the stuff, but you don't need space, you don't need a lot of resources, and you don't need a huge warehouse to make it. So it's kind of like, you know, can you imagine a loaf of bread growing out of the ground? Wouldn't that be crazy?
I would.
Just
And
a complete
that,
loaf.
You know, that's not even far fetched these days. Like to think about something like that, where if we rewinded 40 years
Yeah,
earlier,
exactly.
everybody like, what are you talking about?
What are you
That's
talking
crazy.
about?
But
Yeah.
right now, it's like the possibility of anything. It's almost like if you can think of it, it
Yeah.
can be achieved in some sort of form or fashion, because our technology is a lot better,
Yeah.
our science is a lot better.
Yeah.
And people are constantly innovating and coming up
Yeah.
with ways such as an idea like that.
Still, have you ever heard of the CRISPR?
Mm-mm.
So this is what's happening right now. There's it's called a CRISPR, but basically it's a DNA zipper. It sounds weird, right? But what it does is it's introduced to the body as a virus, and so the virus attaches itself to your DNA or DNA in general. And so this virus is programmed to unzip your DNA and then modify your DNA by injecting whatever it's programmed to do. So say for example, you're sick, right? You have cancer, and that's kind of a genetic thing for your family. So what they do is they're able to isolate whatever the cancerous genetics are, and they'll change and modify it. So they'll use your own DNA per se, but modify it in a sense that there's more proteins, more, you know, more ions or whatever it may be, just kind of modifying it just to strengthen it so that when it zips it back up, you now have a modified DNA. And
It's
that's
almost like a
resistant.
protein pack, or
Yeah, like a protein pack. Yeah,
it's like
so-
I need this extra defense, so zip me up with this extra defense for
Right.
what I have in my family genetically.
Yeah.
Speaking of
It's crazy,
DNA, I was just hearing over the radio that Japan, they said that there's no longer a need for gender reveal, because now they can separate the X and Y chromosomes in the sperm that create the male or female.
Oh wow.
And you can selectively choose which
So,
ones you want
You want
to.
a male or female?
Yeah, so now you can choose your gender.
Wow.
Of course, with anything like that, there's always the people that have a side of that's unethical, or
Sure. It's
but
not a natural
still,
process. you
yeah,
know,
not natural
et cetera.
process. But
Crazy.
I mean, how do you feel about that? I mean, when you talk about fertilization,
yeah.
the one that gets the egg is the strongest of the sperm, right? Is that, you think that's necessarily true, or is it just?
Well, it's just like anything else. I mean, out of millions and millions of these cells, one makes it, right? So
Yeah, one
that's
makes
just
it, yeah.
a selective process in a
And
sense.
that, I guess that doesn't necessarily mean it's the strongest, does it?
Well, could be. It may be the one that makes it to into the
So that
zygote.
that one deserves to win. And if we genetically modify, we're like giving the trophy to the one that should have made it.
Woohoo! Yeah, it's like,
I don't know.
okay, I don't know. That's
But
kinda
at the
crazy.
same time, I mean, there's so many things that they're experimenting with right now that science is allowing
Yeah,
you
'cause,
to
like-
feel like you may be in control of everything, but
So-
really, you're not really. You know what I mean?
So in the future, it's like biotech is rapidly changing, right? So just like the example of the CRISPR thing, they actually have been successful in modifying DNA in China with these pigs. And so these pigs, have you heard of that?
I saw a picture and everybody's scared of the pig man, you know, like, oh, there's gonna be mutants walking around, and but really they took this little piece of information and they blew it up to try to scare people and turn it into
Yeah.
like a National Enquirer type article. But the basics of it was they wanted to find a way to get some organs, right, and be able to
Oh, they haven't seen that yet.
harvest and
Harvest.
farm
They
things
can
that
do
people
that.
may need, like
Like
kidneys or
ears
whatever.
whatever.
Yeah, I've seen the ear in the dish and stuff.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
But the concept of creating a pig human is kind of weird.
That
But I
is
don't think
kinda
it's to
weird.
that extent. But I mean,
You know what? Somebody will eventually like commercialize it. so
they're going to
that-
commercialize, and you're going to see T-shirts that say "Human Pig Matter, Lives Matter" or something like that. You know.
I don't know.
I mean, if we're creating these human pigs just for the harvesting, that's kind of cool, because you know,
kinda weird,
it's
though.
not like a ear coming out of a dish. You're actually creating
Well, I guess
another life form, right?
The alternative, I guess what would make sense in it would be if it's, customized to your DNA. So if you're customized to your DNA, then it can actually be, accepted by your body, because sometimes when we do transplants and that kind of, there's just that risk of infection because it's not being accepted by your body. You may have the proper type of blood, etc., but
I
sometimes
think I would
people can't.
rather like have a 3D printed organ versus one
3D
from
printed organ?
like if you 3D printers, they can
Oh yeah.
they should be able to come up with some way to take some type of human type tissue and kind of
That's crazy.
3D print something that would go into your body. I could see that being done with an ear or something. And I think I would be more acceptable to take a 3D printed ear if I was missing an ear and put it on me versus one that came
Really?
from a human pig, like a pig human. You know what I mean? Give me the 3D printed
Give me a 3D
ear
print.
versus
I
the
was
one
like,
that.
the inorganic version.
Yeah.
The organic version. Well, speaking of 3D printers, right? So have you conceptualized what retail would be like in the future?
With the 3D printing, it could be to a point where you wouldn't even need to go to the store for some things. You could be like sitting at home and like, kind of like a microwave, but it's a 3D printer. I want that chair, and then you just program it into
And
your,
then you go to sleep and you wake up and you have that chair.
and you have that chair.
So
Wouldn't that be cool?
here's what I was thinking, right? So our watches, we're starting to see more smartwatches, right? So eventually, our phones will probably go away.
Yeah.
At some point in our lifetime, we will see the phone gone. Just
Right.
just like the bag phone, right?
Yeah.
The bag phone was cool and everything else. And then suddenly we have flip phones, and everyone went to flip phones, and everyone went to the smartphones. Nobody has a flip phone anymore unless
Yeah.
it's somebody who's
Well,
not
just-
used to having these, right?
Just like with the iPhone, everybody flipped out when they got rid of the earphone port.
Yeah, exactly.
And now they got their own dongle or whatever, but the thought of wireless was very
Well, to my
unthought
point,
of.
to
at
my
one
point though is, so our phones will go away. So we'll have something akin to an Alexa on our wrist. So you just say, Alexa, I'd like to do some shopping today. Can you please order me my food items? And then a drone comes by, drops your food items in your door, right? Or somehow, whoever can invent this way to secure the boxes in your doorstep is going to make a lot of money. Right? But the also part is that if Alexa will say, hey, Salam, summer fashions are coming out. Here are your selections. Would you like for me to produce them for you?
Right.
And so you say, okay, you scan something out of a magazine. It's like, this is what I want. Here's my line. And Alexa will talk to the 3D printers and say, hey, make these for me.
So it'd be like having your own tailor, right? Because they already make the scales that can go 360 degrees around your body,
Yeah, exactly.
and you can get all the measurements
And
the
Alexa would
changes in
already
your
have
body.
that.
And you could order something that would already be
Yeah.
custom fitted for you.
So somebody with the in childhood had scoliosis, so their back is kind of canted a little bit. Alexa would be able to scan that and make modifications to accommodate that person's body type,
Yeah.
and then print so it fits perfectly.
That would be awesome.
Isn't that crazy?
Or yeah, it would be like instead of loading paper in a printer, you just pick the fabric you want.
And just let it
And just let it do its thing. Yeah.
Crazy.
That's pretty neat.
I mean, they have stuff now where they just hit them, especially with embroidering. You've probably seen this. You pretty much just put your diagram or your design in there,
Yeah.
and it has to be a particular file. But once you put it in here, you hit the button, it starts sewing, and then in an hour or so, you've got your embossing or whatever it may be, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
There's so many things.
I mean, just think of it this way, right? In the industrial age, I think this is akin to the industrial age, right? So as we're moving into the information age, like full force, right? We're at the very crust of it, like very thin still, where a lot of inventions were made, a lot of things were changed our lives and stuff.
Yeah.
And so, those guys, Henry Ford, Andrew Carnegie, those guys deal with railroad, steel, whatever. We're dealing with algorithms, phones, all of this technology is changing. And so the race is to get to that point where, things will change as society, because the way our technology is happening right now, the next iPhone type of event can happen very quickly.
Yes. And I think, when you look at things that are made, you talk about, I think the world is going toward redesign, or everything's going toward a design focus.
Right.
Taking the chair that we used to sit in that was once, blocky and puffy,
Right.
and now it's all about elegance and design on how you can take something that already exists and design
Yeah.
it to be lighter, stronger, and simpler. And you can see just as you look around, like as you see the McDonald's change year to year, and how things become more modernized, and
Sure.
the design and everything seems really sleek, colorful, bright, light.
I mean, it's not far along where we're gonna have like these androids taking our orders,
Oh, yeah.
showing us around, being our tour guides. I mean, unfortunately, there's gonna be a lot of stuff that, like warehousing. I mean, they're already in Amazon. They're already like completely revolutionizing that whole environment with more robots.
Yes.
And so the only thing, once they figure out how to sort, I mean, those guys that are sorting now at the warehouse can no longer have, that. I mean, there is programs where the robot can suck and choose and
Yeah.
put things in bins. So we're not that far away.
And everything's a lot accurate because there's always checks and measures by weight and volume, and little sensors that indicate a level to fill up to. I was just at Walmart maybe a month ago, and on the night shift, because I work off hours, I was
Right,
there.
right.
They got the self scrubbers on the floor now. The ones that clean the floor
Seriously?
automatically. Yeah, the local Walmart.
Really, the local Walmart just
in
they can
Kansas
program
City.
it, and then it's just like the
Yeah, because I heard this beeping
Like the Roomba?
and this but
it's like a modernized
yeah,
floor
it was-
cleaning
it-
Roomba.
They were actually using it.
Roomba.
It was a floor scrubber. It was a big one. And I heard the scrubbing and I heard this
Yeah.
beeping because it was like going back and it's just alerting people. And I looked over
Amazing.
and nobody was operating it. And I'm like, wow, they're already doing that. That was awesome.
Wow.
So,
I guess if you start to think of, like, if you parallel the inventions that happen in the so to speak, in the industrial age, right? So we start getting combustion engines and everything else. And so what is that? Maybe like 150 years ago? So now we're going back to steam engines, almost like something to that akin. I think with our new technology, I think we can now do propulsion without getting gas. I mean, we're close enough when the batteries will start to evolve. The use, a combination of battery and capacitor, I think would make it awesome.
And battery capacitor, and even using the simple like sciences of
Yeah.
steam, and like
Yeah.
something that builds up pressure, super soaker.
Do you remember in Back to the Future they had the Mr. Fusion?
Mr. Fusion.
Yeah, it kind of made the, well, not
The
necessarily
flex capacitor.
yeah, it powered the flex capacitor. But the Mr. Fusion, I think we can do that. You remember?
Is that with the microwave and the food? They put in that little dinky food, and then they put in that microwave, and it like just blew up into a big meal.
The Mr. Fusion was on top of the car, where he
Okay.
says, "Hey, do you have any like refuge and like natural stuff?"
Oh, and he started putting
Yeah, he
banana,
starts throwing banana peels and
Yeah, okay, I
apples.
remember now. I forget. I just didn't recall it was called the Fusion.
Can you imagine though? Can you imagine if you can convert all fossil fuel vehicles by using a Mr. Fusion?
And in a sense, we should be able to.
I know, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, so whoever's inventing the Mr. Fusion right now, right here.
You heard it here
Talked
first.
about here.
P.S. Make the Mr. Fusion.
P.S. Invent the fusion, Mr. Fusion, the iFusion, the iFuse. Wouldn't that be cool though?
That would be so
Can
cool.
you imagine if you could just break up
I mean,
into
just think out
ions?
how many landfills wouldn't be there because we're just kind of reusing everything.
Well, it's really funny because, it was because of the environmentals that we switched from
Burning.
burning our fuel,
Yeah.
to power our plants, Because the power, I mean, we can do it now. I mean, because we've got, EPA has done a lot to change the process of how we do it, but we can definitely do it still, and in a cleaner way, and not, create a thing where it's like the ozone, but, people get scared when you talk about power plants burning stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's still a good idea. I think we could still do it. That way we reduce our waste,
Yeah.
and I know, make it so we have a big muffler on top of it so it purifies the air.
Right. I think that you can just create an all-in-one system that can just use and reuse what you use, and I just think you can do it.
It's because with nuclear, right? All it is burning up the water so they can steam can make the generator go. That's
Right.
basically all it is.
Simple science using what's already there.
Yeah. So if you
and
can just,
converting one energy state to another energy
Yeah.
state.
I mean, really, what do they do with all the recyclables? Hey, speaking of recyclables, you know where to recycle stuff here? They took all the recycle places out.
I don't know.
I can't find a
They-
place where you can put a recycling.
So they got rid of the glass thing and the other thing by Price Chopper?
Really?
Did they?
No, not the glass thing's okay.
Oh,
It's
you're just
the other
talking about
stuff.
recycle centers.
Yeah, like
Okay.
recycle centers, like
I don't know.
plastics and paper. I can't find it.
But that, when there's a problem, we can provide a solution and turn it into something profitable and monetary.
True.
Solve a problem. That's how. I mean,
Because like plastics, you can totally.
did you
reuse
tell
it
me
for-
about a guy that had a problem about Ethernet wire or something not long enough? So him and his buddy
Yeah,
went and bought a bunch of
that's
wires, and
Shiran Sevasa.
so it's something like that, right? We just identified there's a problem.
Problem and fix it.
And hey, somebody want to fix it? Someone want to help? We can get together and come up with a
Yeah,
solution.
we can come up with some concepts for you.
Call us, comment. We'll get you our emails eventually to, help us
Yeah.
come up with some topic matter or even some answering questions.
Be kind of
You
cool.
know, can kind of be part of our conversation in a way.
Absolutely.
That would be pretty cool.
But yeah, there's a lot of things we talk about here in our little video podcast.
I can't believe that recycling would be going away. Like all of a sudden we can't find these places
I
anymore.
don't know.
Or just somebody
I
just
don't know,
thought-
because maybe it's not as profitable as they think, or could it be?
things like that I don't believe are that profitable. It's more of a thing to make the world a better place, and sometimes those things don't seem to be profitable. Or they
And maybe
take
because-
away from the people that are making a profit.
That's
you know.
kind of sad the way that that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
here we are trying to help the environment,
Right.
and if it's not profitable, you might much rather have somebody working toward making the environment better and making money at it,
Yeah.
and that we can, so that in essence, what the money does, it's not about greed or anything, right? Because people will always say, hey, they're greedy, we should punish them. But really what it does is it helps the environment. Number one, it also allows those entrepreneurs to find other solutions to make better, right?
Right.
So if you're processing the cardboard boxes one way, and they need money, now they're making money, right? And so now they find a better way, so they improve their processes.
Right.
Like they hire robots, so we're paying for that, but also they're helping in the environment. So later on, we won't have that, people not showing up, when they're processing all the stuff. I know it's more money for them, but that's the game, right?
Yeah.
That's how we work it. That's how we find innovation. That's how we find things and improve things.
Right.
It's by making this money, and then we find other things to do with it. It's the opportunity that the money provides, and not necessarily,
Speaking of like
greed.
finding new ways to do things and things like that, when there's also things that have always been a certain way that just need to be applied.
Yeah.
And what I'm referring to is I know that, you do a lot of these 2-minute trainers of just fundamentals of communication and leadership and things like that.
Yeah.
And what you speak about are things that have been tried and true in many different organizations, but it's also the things that many organizations have a very difficult time trying
Implementing.
to implement
Yeah.
and create a culture that really embraces it. So
Yeah.
I just want to thank you, Paul, for
All right.
sharing that knowledge with people in your 2-minute trainer. And
2
I just want
minutes.
you guys.
And now it's 1 minute trainer now on Instagram.
Oh wow, 1 minute, 2 minutes. I mean, the little nuggets of information that
So
but like little refreshers. You could almost take an index and maybe get a catalog one day and just
Yeah.
search by topic, and then you got access to a 2-minute thing that he's already discussed.
Yeah.
Very valuable stuff. So that's another thing that this podcast we talk about interesting things, and then you got Paul's 2-minute trainers that is trying to help leaders
Yeah.
around the world, and
I need to make T-shirts, by the way.
we will get some of those made
And you had to show me how to make those.
show you how to make them. And you know what?
Like those screen where you have the silk screen, and then you put your print over the top.
What we'll
of it.
do too is maybe we'll have a
the
little
chemical thing.
tutorial on things that we do for our show.
That'd be
You
kind of
know,
cool.
like,
The
so
back
help-
of the
help
behind
other
the
people.
scenes.
Yeah, help other people that might want to do what we're doing. Get some of the little gadgets and stuff.
It'd be funny, like have the PS BS. So it's like PS BS behind the scenes, right? So it's
Yeah.
funny. It's like
But-
we're doing the show PS,
But it's
and
all
we'll
about
show you
helping you, yeah.
the B.
As we go through our show, we're
That's
showing
funny.
you how you can do it as
The
well.
behind the scenes.
We can have we can start a movement of people just sharing information.
Dude, you're so relaxed. You know what? I need to move this microphone back a little bit so it's in between us, so I can like lean back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
So
awesome.
this is a great spot here that it just happened to work out. But I think we need to probably wrap it up.
Yeah.
And
I wish we
talking
had some
about
show music.
T-shirts and stuff like
We need
that.
some show
What
music.
we can do is
We need to
once we
develop
get
some
this
show
thing
music.
posted, we can the first 5 people to comment
Yeah.
or reply to us. We'll give away a shirt. How about that?
Yeah, that's
give
a
away
great
one of
idea.
our beginning shirts.
PS.
It may not be the finalized version of what we might call this, but we're thinking PS might be a good thing.
PS might be a good thing.
Yeah, I think it sounds pretty good.
Morning with PS or PS with
The
PS Good
show.
Morning.
PS Good Morning. We love you.
PS.
PS. Don't
Yeah,
forget
PS.
to do something helpful today.
Do you know that like in the Philippines, right? So when I was growing up there, they had this thing 143. Have you ever heard of it?
Is it an area like?
No, it's just 143. It's basically the letters, right? I love you. So
Oh, wow.
I 1, love 4, and you 3. So 143 was the code. It's kind of like PS good. PS Good Morning.
Yeah,
143.
that's pretty cool. Huh. I like it.
So or 143 Good Morning.
It works.
That'd be kind of a cool T-shirt. Maybe comment below to see.
Yeah, comment.
what would work out for PS. And whoever comes with a great idea, we send them a t-shirt.
Yeah, send them a t-shirt. No big deal.
Yeah, we'll
It'll be
contact
fun.
them.
It'll be cool to have a shirt.
Do you have like a YouTube channel?
You know what? We can get this. We can.
Load it on
We'll,
YouTube.
we'll have a PS channel. How about that?
Yeah, we'll have a PS channel.
Should we call it
We're
PS? Should we just confirm in front
Yeah,
of
we'll just
everybody?
go ahead and call it.
We'll just call it the PS show.
PS Good Morning.
PS Good Morning.
Every Friday.
Every Friday. PS Good Morning. I like it.
I like it too.
I wonder who like
I don't know.
escalated it to that.
I
Like
don't know.
this wasn't good
Like,
enough.
like boom.
But then it had
and
to
then
be-
like
Blow
but-
up.
and then rain.
I like it. I like it too. It's just like everything evolves.
Yeah, everyone has to put their spin on it. So anyway,
I do like the knuckle, you know, in the workplace because it's like, yeah, professionally a handshake is nice and good,
yeah,
but
it's a new handshake.
I like
what
the.
can I
It
say?
just seems like, you know, when you walk by, it's easier to just do a pound and then
Yeah.
keep going.
It's kind of strong too. It's like, you know what? Like bam.
It's
a knuckle bump
for,
thing.
you know, like I got a, you know, a big EQ at work. You know,
Yeah.
there's IQ and EQ, and I feel like doing the fist bump is more emotional friendly, emotional connection
yeah?
with my peers or with the
your
people that I work
people
with.
that you work with.
Yeah, it's like you're treating them a little bit better than the handshake.
I would agree.
It's like, because I like a family type environment at work. Like we're there as humans, get the job done. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm your boss. Yes, you're my hourly. But at the same time, we're people.
Yeah.
And when I do this,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I was there too. I didn't forget where I came
Yeah,
from.
exactly.
I used to be at your
Yeah.
level.
I
So
was-
it kind
I
of
was-
connects with them, I
yeah.
feel. Or I could be wrong. Thoughts, comments, you know.
I
Let
think
us
it's
know.
important though,
All right.
because the difference is, you know, you do this and I tell you. You know, that's different, right? As opposed to, hey, we're a team. We're doing this together.
Right.
We're making this happen. It's all of us, not just me. It's you.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a different feel.
Mhm.
Makes me already feels like I want to high five everybody at work.
Oh yeah. Hey, challenge of the day. If you see
Yeah.
somebody at work,
High five
fist bump them, high five them. Just do that.
Hey, good morning.
See, and let us know how that
Yeah,
made
oh,
the
yeah,
rest
how
of your
it
day,
worked. Yeah,
and how many people you did it to,
that'd be awesome.
and let us know if it caught on. Like, let's say you did to someone. Did
Yeah.
you notice that they fist bumped somebody else later on?
Yeah,
Let us know.
cool.
It's like the butterfly effect.
Yeah, butterfly effect.
The fist bump, though, is a fist bump effect.
Yeah.
And with that being said,
All right.
good morning. How should we sign off? Do we have a sign off yet?
Yeah, we should say, or just remember, P.S. Good
Yes. Good morning. I like it.
Yeah.
All right.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.